Wings pulls down the rebound for Indiana. Clark from way downtown. She gets it to go. A rounded down for Caitlin Clark from 35 feet.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So the WNBA actually did it, and honestly, I am shocked they finally corrected the stats because there was so much social media uproar that it became impossible to ignore. If you guys have been paying attention to WNBA stat keeping this season, then you already know it has been absolutely horrendous at times. And this is not even me trying to exaggerate for content. We are talking about obvious plays, clear possessions, and assists that literally everybody watching at home can recognize instantly. Yet somehow the official stat sheet says something completely different. And the craziest part is that this has not just happened once. This has been a season-long issue. We have seen weird assists given out, rebounds credited strangely, turnovers assigned to the wrong players, and sometimes it feels like nobody even knows what qualifies as an assist anymore. The best example came in that recent game involving Erica Wheeler, Derica Hamby, and Kelsey Plum. Erica Wheeler passed the ball to Derica Hamby at the top of the key. Derica Hamby dribbled several times, pivoted, looked around for options, faked a handoff, held the basketball forever, and then eventually drove to the basket herself and scored. Somehow, after all of that, Kelsey Plum was awarded the assist. I mean, come on now. At some point, common sense has to kick in. If a player is holding the ball for 4 seconds, creating her own shot, pivoting multiple times, and then attacking off the dribble, how in the world is that still considered an assist? And that's why fans have been frustrated, because people are not asking for perfection. Fans understand mistakes happen in real time. But when the same type of errors continue happening over and over again, eventually people start questioning the consistency of the entire system. We've also seen this happen repeatedly with Paige Bueckers this season. One thing I have noticed with Paige is that when she grabs defensive rebounds, she sometimes pauses instead of immediately exploding into transition like most guards do. Usually, guards secure the rebound and instantly push the pace up the floor. Paige occasionally gathers herself first, and defenders swipe at the ball during that moment. Now, normally, that should be pretty easy to score correctly, but somehow these possessions keep turning into bizarre stat sheet situations. One time, it became a Paige Bueckers turnover. Another time, it became a Dallas team turnover. Another time, she got the rebound, but the turnover was assigned differently afterward. Then there was the sequence involving Arike Ungabawale that honestly made no sense at all. Paige fumbled the basketball, the ball bounced awkwardly, and she accidentally kicked it off the back of Arike's foot while Arike was running down the floor. Somehow, the turnover ended up on Arike. Like, what are we doing here? And then there was another play where Paige was not even credited with the rebound at all, seemingly so they would not have to assign her the turnover afterward. Instead, it became an Indiana offensive rebound. Those are the kinds of things fans notice immediately because basketball fans today are smart. People rewind possessions, clip plays online, slow them down frame by frame, and compare them directly to the official box score. So when something looks completely off, everybody sees it instantly. Now, let me make this clear because people always jump to extremes online. I am not saying there's some conspiracy to help Paige Bueckers or hurt Caitlin Clark. I am not saying stat keepers are secretly targeting certain players. I am simply saying the inconsistencies are extremely noticeable, especially when they happen involving star players repeatedly. And honestly, this has been happening for a while now. Do you guys remember last season when Grace Berger somehow kept ending up credited with turnovers that clearly belonged to Paige Bueckers? There were stretches where it genuinely felt like Grace Berger was averaging 1 Paige turnover per game. There was even a game where Grace Berger got credited with 3 turnovers in one half that all looked like Paige Bueckers' mistakes. Paige dribbled the ball off her own foot one possession, and somehow the turnover appeared under Grace Berger's name. That is the type of stuff that leaves fans completely confused. So when Caitlin Clark's assist numbers became a controversy, everybody was already prepared to question the stat sheet immediately. And sure enough, after the game, social media exploded because people knew Caitlin clearly had 10 assists. Everybody watching could see it. Analysts saw it. Fans saw it. Clips started spreading everywhere online showing obvious missed assists. There were possessions where Caitlin Clark passed the ball directly to wide-open teammates who scored immediately, and somehow the assists were not counted. Eventually, after all the uproar, the WNBA finally corrected the stats and gave Caitlin Clark the 2 missing assists back. And honestly, it was the right decision, because the original numbers made absolutely no sense. Caitlin finished with 32 points and 10 assists, officially giving her another historic performance. And by the way, what Caitlin Clark is doing statistically right now is ridiculous. Nobody besides Caitlin Clark has ever recorded a 30-point, 12-assist game in WNBA history. Think about that for a second. Out of all the legends who have played in this league, Caitlin is already doing things nobody else has done before. And honestly, if that Indiana Fever game had ended differently, if that Kelsey Mitchell shot had gone in, I truly believe people would universally call this the greatest game Caitlin Clark has played as a professional. What is funny is that some of Caitlin's greatest performances have actually come in losses. The Phoenix game during her rookie year was unbelievable. I still remember that game because it was not just about the numbers. It was the way she controlled everything happening on the floor. Then there was the Chicago game during her rookie year where she completely dominated offensively, even if Chicago struggled badly that season. But honestly, the Washington game during her rookie year might still be one of the most impressive performances I have ever seen from her. Indiana was down huge entering the fourth quarter, and Caitlin Clark basically turned into a one-woman comeback machine. She finished with 29 points and 14 assists, and it felt like almost all of it happened in the fourth quarter alone. Every possession ran through her. Every shot mattered. She completely took over the game by herself. Yes, I know she had the late turnover when Indiana was down 3 points, but honestly, they never should have even been close enough for that possession to matter. Caitlin dragged them back into the game almost single-handedly. That was the famous kids' camp game, too, which made the atmosphere even crazier. Then there was the 24-point, 19-assist masterpiece against Dallas. That game was absolutely absurd from a playmaking standpoint. And people also forget about the near triple-double against the New York Liberty, where Caitlin finished with 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. She was literally 1 rebound and 1 assist away from a 32-point triple-double. And honestly, she probably gets it if she stays in the game longer instead of being pulled late. That is why I think this recent performance deserves so much respect. Even if somebody looks at the box score and says she struggled shooting early, the overall impact she had on the game was unbelievable. Through 3 quarters, the shot was not consistently falling, but the key difference between good players and superstars is confidence. Caitlin Clark never stopped attacking. She never stopped believing in herself. And then in the fourth quarter, she completely exploded offensively. That ability to stay mentally locked in is what separates elite players from everybody else. We have seen A'ja Wilson do the same thing before. People remember that game against Indiana where A'ja Wilson shot 6 for 22 because even though the efficiency looked rough, she still impacted winning. There was also that Chicago game years ago where A'ja struggled shooting most of the night but still hit the game winner when everything mattered most. That is what superstars do. They step up during the biggest moments regardless of how ugly the stat line looked earlier in the game. Caitlin Clark showed that same mentality again. And honestly, I think this is only the beginning. I truly believe we are going to see a lot more record-breaking performances from Caitlin Clark moving forward. The way she sees the floor, the way she manipulates defenses, and the confidence she plays with are all incredibly rare. She is already rewriting parts of the WNBA record books early in her career, and it feels like we're watching history happen in real time. But at the same time, none of this should have taken 2 full days to correct. That is still the frustrating part. Fans should not have to launch social media investigations just to get obvious assists counted correctly. When everybody watching immediately recognizes a mistake, the league should be able to fix it much faster. Thankfully, common sense finally won out. Caitlin Clark officially got the assists she earned, the stat line was corrected properly, and the record now reflects what actually happened on the court. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think the WNBA stat tracking has been inconsistent this season? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos just like this.